Semi-Pro, 2008, starring Will Ferrell and Woody Harrelson and, weirdly enough, Andre 3000. So one of the great things about me is that I have a terrible memory. And I say that because I've seen this movie. I saw it when it came out in 2008. And I've probably seen it 2 or 3 times since then. But it's been a few years. It's been at least 5-6 years plus since I've seen it. And I completely forgot everything about this movie, other than it stars Will Ferrell and it takes place in Flint, Michigan in the 70s. And mostly that's because I have a terrible memory, but also because the movie's kind of forgettable. So when I sat down to watch this, I kind of came at it with fresh, new eyes, almost as if I was watching it for the first time. In Semi-Pro, Will Ferrell is the player, coach, owner, promoter of the Flint, Michigan Tropics, an ABA basketball team. And in 1976, the ABA is going to merge with the NBA, but they're only going to take 4 teams from the ABA into the NBA. If the Flint Tropics can be one of the 4 best teams that season, they can then be one of the teams that gets taken into the NBA.
You take the 4 teams with the best records. They should merge.
He's right. The season isn't over yet.
Exactly what he just said.
Problem is, we suck.
You did not deserve that.
I know.
I apologize.
So in the attempt to get the Tropics into the NBA, one of the first things that Will Ferrell does as Jackie Moon, the coach, player, owner, promoter of the Tropics, is he trades their washing machine for Woody Harrelson's character named Monix, who's a veteran player who is on his last legs, but at one point in one season he was on the bench for a Boston Celtics team who won the championship, so he has some kind of championship experience. Also, the best player on the Flint Tropics team is a player named Clarence, played by Andre 3000, the rapper. Something that I noticed immediately about him in his role when he jumped onto the screen was that whenever I see Andre 3000 in a movie, I immediately think, how does he not have like 50 rap albums? Because he's so charismatic. Every role he's in, he plays so well, and he speaks in such a fluent, I don't know, magnetism kind of speech pattern. It's like, this is one of the best rappers that ever lived. Not only is he a great actor, but also, why isn't he rapping right now? As far as Woody Harrelson in the movie playing an NBA veteran, it was great to see him back in a basketball movie. He plays his role really well. He actually takes over the coaching duties of the team, and they go from sort of playing individual basketball to being more of a team-styled basketball team. And that was good to see, and it fits his character for having all the kind of championship experience he has, even though he rode the bench during his championship run with the Celtics. When it comes to Will Ferrell, well, he's just Will Ferrell. I mean, he's going to do Will Ferrell kind of things. And this is definitely his movie, his conception. You can tell throughout the whole thing. It's definitely a Will Ferrell picture. One of the staples of a Will Ferrell movie is that you're never disappointed in his effort towards his character.
My gosh, it's almost as though you're in some sort of a basketball trance.
Whenever his character's on screen, you know you're going to get a full effort performance from him, and that's always appreciated. The problem in this movie is that a lot of times they swung for the fences when it came to the comedy, and sometimes it hit, and when it hit, it was pretty funny. The problem being, though, that most of the time, or at least the majority of the time, they kind of missed. And for me, that's kind of disappointing because this could have been an amazing movie. This could have been one of the best basketball movies in the history of basketball comedies. But because it missed so often, it ended up being more of a disappointment than the promise of a great basketball comedy. Like I said, Woody Harrelson was a great touch and a great add to this movie. He grounds the players when it comes to the plot, trying to get them to play team fundamental kind of basketball.
We play fundamental basketball. We can make a run at this. What is this?
This is the future of basketball.
But he also brings kind of a heart to the movie because he really cares about the game and he really cares about winning and playing the game right. A lot of the movie has to do with Jackie Moon promoting the team to the town and the fans, because one of the requirements that comes along with finishing as one of the top 4 teams to be merged into the NBA is that you have to have at least 2,000 fans at all of your games, and they barely have any at the beginning of the movie. And so Jackie Moon has to start promoting the team and start doing these over-the-top comedic promotions to get people in the stands to meet that 2,000 fan requirement. And there's a lot of good intention there. There's a lot of good effort there.
Jackie, what sorts of promotional things do you have coming up this season?
We've got pancake night, clown makeup night. Get a live camel in here and just see what happens.
Will Ferrell really puts out a performance trying to make you laugh and entertain you. It just, it doesn't come across the way he wanted it to. It's not really as funny as he would have liked it to have been. That being said, is Semi-Pro a good movie? I think it is. It does hit and miss. There is a lot of disappointing comedy in it, meaning it doesn't come across as funny as they're intending it to. It doesn't hit all the time with the kind of effort they're putting into it, but it's still a good movie. It tells a good story. I think it's very interesting, the idea that someone who is a player, a coach, an owner, a promoter of a team has this goal of getting his team to the highest level of basketball.
The ABA will be merging with the NBA at the end of this season.
Yes! Oh, I'm so happy I can't even feel my arms.
4 teams will be absorbed into the NBA next year.
Wow!
Hey, Jackie, the Tropics won't be going.
Wait, what did you say?
No!
You're being, well, Jackie, don't bite yourself.
It's just that the comedy falls flat more often than you would like in a movie like this. So is it funny? Yeah, it's funny. Of course it's funny. And it did make me laugh, some hard laughs in there, but it's just that you expect more. You want more from a Will Ferrell movie. He has some of the most legendary comedies of all time. And as a basketball fan, when I found out that he was making a basketball movie, and not just a basketball movie, but a basketball movie about a town in a state that I live in, I was so pumped for this. I thought this is going to be amazing and great, and maybe that's my fault for having such high expectations, but I really do think there was potential there for that movie to be one of the best basketball comedies, bar none, of all time, and it just isn't anywhere near that funny. It is funny, you will laugh, but you're gonna cringe at other points too, and probably more often than you would like. So is it funny? Yes. Does it live up to the promise of the cast? No. Should you see it? Should you experience Semi-Pro? No, you don't have to. I will say the basketball in it is not bad. It is funny. I mean, it's good when, you know, basketball scenes are taped in a funny and comedic way. There are those kinds of scenes, even though they're not that funny. At least they're in there. At least there's an attempt for that, right? But there's also the regular serious basketball scenes where the actual basketball action is taking place. That basketball action is actually pretty good. And that's a trend that I'm seeing taking place as we go up, I think up, up this list of Esquire's best basketball movies, I will say that the basketball scenes in this movie are done pretty well. They're not great, they're not even close to great, but they're pretty good. Something I'm noticing as we go through this list, as we're counting our way up, is that the basketball is gradually getting better. The quality of it's getting better. The way it's filmed and recorded and presented to us is better. It's more interesting. You can tell the directors and the director of photography, you can tell they care and they want to present it to us in more and more interesting and entertaining ways. And so I'm very pleased about that, because at the beginning of the list, it was rough. It was not good in terms of the way the basketball scenes were done and presented to us, but I'm happy to say that as we've been going through this list, they've been increasing and getting better and better. So do you need to see Semi-Pro? Do you need to experience it? No, you don't need to, but if you're a fan of Will Ferrell, then you should definitely check this movie out. It's a good movie, it's just not a great basketball movie. So that's my review of 2008's Semi-Pro starring Will Ferrell. If you guys like this review, if you guys like these basketball movie reviews, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. That would really help me out. And hit that notification bell so you're notified of all the future movie reviews that are going to be coming up in the next few weeks. I believe next week's movie is 1977's One-on-One. I've never seen that movie. I don't think I've ever even heard of it, but assuming I can find it, that'll be next week's movie. So I'll see you guys then.
We, East Champs, dog, did it right. Trust you wanna play, bring your ball and your knights, let's go.